in a Parisian market now, shopping for dinner tonight. We've got mushrooms. There are all kinds of mushrooms here. There's the bolete, the chanterelle mushroom. They've also got some morel mushrooms. All sorts of delights here. Okay. Well, here we are in France. We've rented this small little Parisian apartment, which we have very little space for things, and we have guests coming over for dinner tonight. And then we have a house guest coming to stay with us for 2 nights, a friend of mine from Vienna. So we need to have a lot of food out because she's having to eat, oh dear, she's having to go vegan too. Both the guests are having to go vegan because of their health issues. So I'm kind of showing them how to do the vegan lifestyle. And these pears, I guess I will just put with our beautiful figs. Over here we have some lovely things we've gotten at the market. These are figs, beautiful figs. And right here, the tomatoes. And tomatoes taste different in Europe. That's all there is to it. These are fava beans that my sister Elizabeth peeled. Here are some mushrooms. The mushrooms are a lot more inexpensive here. You can get chanterelles, morels. These are oysters and boletes. But you can get them for like equivalent to maybe $3 a pound as opposed to $60 a pound for morels. And here's some fresh herbs, thyme and bay leaf. Just stay like that. And over here I'm cooking. I'm fixing beans, of course. This over here. I have one other thing in here. Just a minute. Let's see what this is. Oh, we have avocados. Okay. Put those up there for now. Okay, so we have, up there we have nuts, avocados, and those other 2 pears. And here I have flageolet. It's a type of specialty French bean that I'm cooking with fresh, just whole pieces of fresh bay leaf, like you saw in the window, sage leaves, and thyme. And a traditional way to prepare it is with thyme. But I'm doing sage, thyme, and bay leaf. And then over here, we have to have a lot of beans for our guests and ourselves to last us because we're leaving day after tomorrow. And here I have just some garbanzo beans cooking with some sage right now. And I'll probably add some other things, maybe some chopped onion in the garbanzo beans as they get a little more finished. And then this is the beautiful cabbage I love so much in France. And I don't really see it in the States. We may grow it out on the farm with Farmer Mark. But what I'll do is I'll peel some of it and I'll shred it very thinly. And I might bake it in the oven, or it might go, we're doing a vegetable stew tonight. Because as you can see, we don't have, this is my workspace right here, my only workspace. This is the little stove, little oven, and then that's not really a workspace over there. So I don't want to have a whole lot of pots and pans out. And so here is fennel. We'll probably do some fennel in the salad. And let's see if there's anything interesting in this refrigerator to show you. Oh yes, currants. These are fresh currants. Very tasty little things. We don't see these in the States much. I've never seen them in the States. They're tasty. Tart, sweet, full of vitamin C. And then, this I've never seen in the States. And let me tell you, they are a little bit of heaven. These are the fresh medjool dates. I got them in a market out in Caen, France. I didn't see them here in the Paris market, but this is a fresh medjool date. It's kind of hard to describe the texture. It's a little bit like a persimmon, but as I said, it's a little bit of heaven. So now we'll move into, let's see, I'm going to take these figs, since we're going to have guests tonight, so I want to have some food out. I'll take these figs and maybe these tomatoes into our salon. And here it is. We have a 1-bedroom, and the people who we did Airbnb, and these people obviously like to collect a lot of artwork, Now I am chopping up this cabbage like this. If anybody thinks they can't cook this way because they have a small kitchen, well, think twice, because this is a tiny, look at my cutting board that I have to work with. I mean, a tiny little cutting board on a tray on a little counter space. So you can cook this way in any size kitchen. So now I'm going to put this into a baking dish, because where this is going to be a baked cabbage, and this is a really delicious cabbage. And cabbage is called choux in French. So I'm just going to cut it all up just like this. And now, the one-man show here. Okay, so here I'm putting it in the dish, right here. And I'm going to keep cutting it up. And then once I have it all, I'll show you what I'm going to do with it before I prepare it. Okay, so now I've got a little bit, I'm putting a little bit of a walnut in here. I've already tossed some in. And now I'm going to put in some chopped apple. I just chopped up some apple like this, and I'll just put that in there. And then I'm going to put some air de Provence in it, which has thyme, oregano, marjoram, rosemary. And sometimes you get it, sometimes it has lavender in it. I didn't see that lavender was in this one. And then I'm going to put in some vinegar. And I don't salt my food when I cook it. If people want salt, they can add it later. That way you get a lot less salt. Just like this. So the apples are mixed in, the walnuts are mixed in, the herbs are mixed in. I may do a little bit more herb in there. I'm doing quite a bit. You could put onion in there, but I've only got 2 onions and I'm using it for something else. So now I'll show you what we're going to do to bake it. This is all going to be baked. Just down like that. And then I have these leaves that I will cover it with. Press it down and cover it with the leaves. And there is a Savoy cabbage in the States that I don't like it as much as this, but you can still do this kind of thing with it. It looks similar. It's not as dark as this. I'm just making sure all the sand is off of it, because the vegetables here are very sandy. I just cover it so I use all these leaves, and then it will just steam nicely in there. And then you don't have to cover it with anything because you've covered it with the leaves. You could do parboiled chopped potatoes in there. You could do some like garbanzo beans in there. I do have some, but they're not quite ready, so I didn't put any in there. Now the leaves get darker, the outer leaves. And those outer dark green leaves are where you have more nutrition. And of course, cabbage is a cruciferous vegetable. So this is one of our big anti-cancer weapons. So there you go. So then I'm just going to bake that, and that's sort of a classic French dish. They often do like little timbales, small things like this, but they use a lot of this chou, which is cabbage in French, and you'll see it when we have the dinner party tonight, and we'll pull it out of the oven. Well, hello. Now I'm going to make a what shall I call this? A fava bean vegetable cassoulet. As you know, I'm a little limited in here, so let's get started. I'm a little bit started already. As you can see, I have, these are fava beans. My sister shelled them. They come in a long thing like this. They're very easy to shell. You just open it up, and then you've got the little fava beans in there. And some Middle Eastern markets, you can find them. They're very tasty. So I put those in there. I put some carrots in there. And now I'm going to chop some onions and put some onions in there. Okay, I've just now added the fresh herbs into our stew. I've turned off the stew. It's all cooked. And I added fennel to the stew as well. And here's what the fennel looks like. And now in the States you usually have to peel the outer layer. Here it's more tender. I guess it's older in the States. But I just cut it up in just kind of chunks. Bite-sized chunks, and that doesn't take more than like 5 or 6 minutes to get tender. And so the stew's turned off. So our stew, look at that, isn't that beautiful? And then we'll have sauteed mushrooms. We'll have the cabbage, which is cooking in the oven. We will have and I'm going to add some garbanzo beans to this stew as well. And then we will have the wonderful flageolet beans, cooked with all the herbs, and I'm going to add some chard to this. I'm going to chop up all this chard over here. See, we're using up all of our vegetables. So I'm going to chop up this chard, and then I'm going to cook it separately because I didn't get it in time. I don't want to overcook this. So I'm just going to chop the chard and cook it separately and then add it to the stew. So, looks delicious. Can't wait to eat. Can't wait to see my good friend, Alika. So, au revoir. It looks like you're slumped down back there. Yes, this is your bed, Alika. You better find a comfortable place for here. So, this is one, but I think I told you this when I